Have you guys ever seen
Yeah.
that 30-minute video produced by, I think it was Bridgewater, Ray Dalio's company, that talks
Yeah,
about credit cycles
Oh yeah.
and how where we are in the credit cycle, how it
That is
sort of oscillates up and down, and then there's like a 70-year crash or something like that.
mm,
That's pretty eye-opening. If a guy like
he called it
this, uh-huh,
he called it the beautiful deleveraging, but
yes.
I don't know I mean it was a great video, but I think it was maybe a little too optimistic because the
I don't
way the
understand how it's going to be beautiful. Let's just say
yeah
that.
too many distortions in the market now, right? There's too much intervention, and I don't like to say manipulation, but obviously these markets they're not free market anyway. So I don't know how you're going to have this beautiful deleveraging and go back to a normal credit cycle.
I think it's
I'll
going to
just
be
add.
quite crazy.
I'll just add. I find it amusing that I thought it was a very well done video. I learned a bit from it, but he doesn't mention gold anywhere. And out of the big guys, he's actually one of the biggest proponents of gold. I think he owns somewhere between like 5 or 10%. He's probably accumulating right now. So I just find that so amusing that like talking about beautiful deleveraging and this and that, but he doesn't actually mention like one of the things that he's adding like crazy. And really, like his own history is so fascinating because he made a small fortune in gold futures in the late 70s and early 80s, but most people have no idea about that. One of my YouTubes talked a little bit about it, but he will be an interesting person to follow because I think his whole
Oh, yeah.
tune will start to change in the next few years.
It's
We'll
going to
see.
have to, because he's sort of like running to the hills and then at the same time trying to educate people as to, this
Yeah,
happens every now and again and this is normal. But here's the thing, debt has never been like such a normal thing as it is today. Like nowadays, the average person has student loans, has a mortgage, has their car. It hasn't been paid for yet, and it's just like so normal that I think mathematically you get to a point where like the economy will not go anywhere because people are just trying to pay down debt or trying to write off their losses and things like that. And so I think we're approaching this point where like there is just too much debt. And not even to get into the central banks and
oh,
like the
sure,
nation's
yeah.
debt,
Don't
because
even get there.
there's just a trillion here, a trillion there. It's all the same, really.
Pull so much forward consumption into the present day. Like after a certain point, even if you give people free money, I mean, they've already spent it all. Like they don't want more
Hmm.
free money. Like I mean, you're always gonna have the idiots who will never stop. They're kind of the addicts that I was talking about, particularly in real estate, right?
Hmm.
But for the most part, I think even the most sensible person will be like, I already have enough debt. I don't want more. You can offer me a 0% loan, and I don't want to take it.
Yeah.
Because I have too much debt, and I think we're getting there. And they keep trying to stimulate all this growth in the economy, but this expansion cycle is it's done. It's over. It's overdone. I mean that's how I see it. Um,
I think that the debt expansion in a way is over, but I absolutely see infrastructure spending coming one way or another, and that may take a few years for it to be on a colossal
Hmm.
worldwide scale. But I think that's a positive for mining and basic goods. So we'll see about that. Yeah,
you mean something like the new Silk Road, like that kind of infrastructure build
that
out, or
that kind of thing. Also, just like the U.S. is going to start having more money being spent by the Treasury rather than like money printing by the central banks. I mean, I don't want to go get too deep into that, but I think that you'll see infrastructure spending in the U.S. You'll see it. You'll see more stuff, more investment in Africa. Like so, yes, you mentioned the Silk Road, but I know that both Japan and China and even South Korea, to an extent, like they're looking to actually invest in infrastructure projects in Africa. So like you've got other countries, some of them related to China, some not even. But some of this money is national, and some of it is going to be centered around the IMF and all that stuff. But it's something I'm still learning about. But I feel that it in a way it's going to replace the momentum lost by all the debt deleveraging. It's going to go into real stuff. So we'll see how that works out. But
yeah,
somehow that's going to transition.